Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 6th of May 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Tarot of Marseille for today's reading. Let's see what the cards have to say about Friday and what energy you'll be working with. So I'm just going to shuffle these a few times and let's see what Friday is all about. So first card is the Five of Swords. Okay. The Magician and the Four of Cups. Okay, so this is interesting. The cards are saying that you've got a lot of energy on this day to create something magical for yourself, to make changes in your life. But these two cards kind of qualify the Magician, and they also say that if there's a lot of conflict going on in your life, arguments, like if you perceive some sort of an injustice, that can really derail you and take you away from your goal and what you're doing. And then the Four of Cups is a tendency to sulk and to take things to heart emotionally and to dig your heels in and to say, well, if my life is going to contain all this conflict, then I'm going on strike. I'm not going to participate, so I'm going to do nothing. So that's kind of interesting because with the Magician, you have a wonderful connection to the higher realms. That's this wand here, and that's what inspires you. And then at the same time, you've got all these tools at your disposal in a practical sense. So the connection of the Magician with what's above and below is perfectly balanced, and that's why he's able to create something unique and valuable for himself and the rest of the world. So that's the real gift of the day, and that's what you're able to do. So if you have anything where you need to work independently, where only you can make changes happen, where it's really down to you, and if you're not going to do it, no one else will, that's the kind of thing, if you focus on that, you'll make a lot of progress today. But the thing to avoid is taking things too seriously in terms of the emotions. If something doesn't go your way, it's the difference between not getting something that you ordered in the mail and saying, okay, that was a mix-up at the warehouse, whatever, or opening the package and seeing the wrong sweater in there and saying, why does nothing good ever happen to me? Why do they always mix up my order? It's taking something at face value, or then creating a narrative around you that puts you in this emotional tailspin. Avoid that tendency. And also, if someone is less than pleasant in your life or something has been done that's underhanded, it's also that tendency to give up and to say, wow, if people are going to treat me in such an unjust, unfair way, then I'm not going to participate at all. I'm going to close the door behind me and I'm just going to hole in my house for a few days. So there's the potential to overreact to things that you do not like. If you're able to keep a lid on that and manage the emotions and look at a certain event with a particular perspective, as in, okay, this is less than ideal, but is it really that serious? Then you can tap into the Magician and use all of his energy to create something on your own. And in my experience, because we do live on planet duality, when you have one extreme, either in a good sense or in a bad sense, then you have the other extreme to balance it out. So, for instance, the Magician has this amazing freedom to create something wondrous on planet Earth. So that's extremely good. So the universe then has to kind of balance that with a potential pitfall, potential for arguments or to get scattered or distracted and to waste that energy, or to go backwards and instead of making progress in a real world sense, to take 2 steps back emotionally and to feel sorry for yourself. So it's an extreme day, and when there are these major extremes, that's usually when you can make a lot more progress because there's more at stake. The ante is kind of higher. So the Five of Swords usually depicts one man at the front of the card with all these swords on the back of his shoulder, and the people who've been defeated are kind of standing by the seaside crying, and they're lamenting the fact that they've been in this conflict and that they've lost. Here we've got these swords kind of interacting and fitting together perfectly, and then we've got one sword going up, and this kind of looks like the Ace of Swords to me. So, okay, that's interesting because it's saying not all conflict is necessarily there to just hurt your feelings. By engaging with conflict, and this is kind of dangerous, I think, so please take this with a pinch of salt. But the card is saying that by engaging with conflict, you'll understand something and an idea will occur to you because of that conflict. So actually, heated discussions are useful on this day, and they're meant to inform you. They're not just meant to put you in an emotional hole. I don't know about you, but I like to get my ideas differently. I like to meditate on things and have things occur to me. I like, yeah, I mean, if I'm having heated discussion, it's got to be in a certain safe environment in the sense that I trust the person and I've got to feel like we're discussing something on a certain level. It's not personal and we're trying to both understand it. But I wouldn't be comfortable doing this with some random stranger and getting into some sort of altercation. So play that by ear, please. If there's someone you do trust and you've got something that is troubling you and you want to discuss it to understand it better, then the card is saying conflict isn't the worst thing in the world and other people can help you balance things out. So that's one way, if you do fall into the self-pity trap, that's one way of pulling yourself out of it. This idea then inspires you to create. I just want to clarify that. I don't think that going around and challenging anybody and everybody is going to be the way to use this. I think the way to use it is to confide in someone about something that's difficult. And rather than this being an argument and conflict in the sense of we're screaming at each other, I think it's sharing a secret or opening up about something that you usually wouldn't and that feels difficult. And by sharing it, that then allows you to connect with someone else and this idea emerges. You see your own stuff differently and that then gives you the freedom to create and to make progress. So I actually think in this context, you're able to let go of something difficult or a resentment or something you're ashamed of simply by sharing it with another person, and it lightens the load and you're scooting off again into the future with a lot less baggage. Then the Four of Cups, that's usually a young man sitting under a tree with his arms crossed. One cup is being delivered to him, so he's getting all these gifts from the universe. He's already got 3 cups in front of him, but he can't see the good or he can't feel it. And it's going, putting the walls up and saying, I'm totally isolated and nothing good can touch me. It's a weird space to be. And it's not, once you're in there, it's hard to get out of it. So these two are saying it's much better to connect with something out there that doesn't feel familiar and to take action around it than to shut down and to lick your wounds and to say, oh, I'm upset. I'm the only person in the world who has it this hard, all of those kind of things. Because that can bring out the worst of these cards and totally make things come to a screeching halt. But if you're able to contextualize things, then you can continue to make progress and, in fact, be much more informed in what you're doing. Because this new idea has emerged. So you're much clearer in terms of your goals and your ambitions. The Four of Cups is trying to tell me something else. And what is it trying to tell me? We've got these 4 cups in this card totally balanced. So I think it's a lack of perspective of different feelings and their significance. So, a fundamental contentment with your life may seem just as important as being annoyed over a paper cut. I think you lose perspective on what emotionally is important and what isn't. So you worry about the wrong things or you focus on things which are trivial and, like letting your whole day be ruined by someone cutting you off in the car in the morning. It's that kind of vibe. It's this lack of clarity. So I think that with the emotional side, asking for help and handing it over and saying, I don't know what to make of this. Universe, higher self, guides, you deal with it, please. And then being constructive when it comes to ideas and conversations and interactions you have and saying, what does this bring me, ideally? How's this useful in order for me to progress? So there's a lot of mental gymnastics here to keep things moving and to keep the momentum. If you falter or stumble a little bit and you do have a moment or something you're not happy with, don't beat yourself up over it, and particularly don't dwell on it. And Control-Alt-Delete, start the day over and say, this is what I'm focused on. I'm creating magic here, but I'm not perfect. So let's just do the best we can. Number-wise, we've got 5 and 1 is 6 and 4 is 10. 10 reduces to 1, and that's the same as the Magician here. 1 is this pioneering energy of one person doing something that's special and valuable to them and connecting with things that support the self, rather than becoming disempowered by other people, circumstances, extreme emotions, environments, anything like that. So keep the focus on you and what you can create, and that's the best way to minimize these difficulties. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.